Couple of people in the official Friends of Faith on Trial WhatsApp group requesting this one. A shout out to Grace, who sent us a message talking about this song being something that lifts her spirit. This is Faith on Trial live on Star FM, and once again, you're with ET tonight, and we're hoping that we will have a blast as we tackle issues to do with in-laws. We're talking about leaving, we're talking about cleaving. What are the principles that need to be followed? So if you've got in-laws, if you're an in-law, then tonight is your night. And if you know that you're potentially going to be an in-law, or you're potentially going to have an in-law, then you are tuned in to the right station. This is Faith on Trial.
Zimbabwe, the Cancer Power Walk 2025 is here, bringing communities together to raise awareness, honor survivors, and support the fight against cancer. Join us Saturday, 1 November 2025. The walk kicks off at 5:30 a.m. sharp. Whether you're walking in memory of a loved one, celebrating survival, or simply standing up for health, your step makes a difference. Registration is just $10 per person, and every dollar goes towards cancer awareness, screenings, and patient support. Come with your friends, family, or your workmates, and let's do this. Together, we can make cancer awareness louder than ever before. The Cancer Power Walk 2025. Step up, speak out, save lives. Register today at all Zimpapers offices in Harare, Bulawayo, Gweru, Mutare, Mashingo, and Chinoi, or call on 0772 331 156. See you at the starting line.
This is Faith on Trial on Star FM, exploring matters of faith and issues within the church.
Come follow me at Ephraim Tagu ET. Just follow me.
Faith on Trial on Star FM. WhatsApp us on 0772162651. Call in on 0772162651 or 0714414413.
Good evening and welcome into the latest edition of Faith on a Trial live on Star FM. Thank you for choosing us tonight. And tonight we're going to be having quite an exciting show. We're talking about in-laws tonight, and I know a lot of people are glued and they've got something that they want to say. That's why we've got WhatsApp. That's why we are live on Facebook, and that is why we've got the phone lines open and are ready for you to chime in. 0772-162-651. You can send through your voice notes. I'm going to be taking voice notes as well tonight. I'm also going to be taking some WhatsApp messages and also phone-ins, as well as the Facebook comments that are there. So as usual on the show, we like to kick things off with our song request of the day, and that was Minister Michael Maendere with Tanga Ineni. If you're wondering how can I be part of sending in song requests and giving a bit of feedback, commenting, suggesting stuff, then click the link in the description on the official Star FM Facebook page, which has the live link that is streaming right now. Click and join the WhatsApp group and you can be part of this. So exciting stuff all around. Let's talk about the quiz question of the day. Now, since we are talking about in-laws, just want you to give me an example of an in-law story that you know. An in-law story that you know that is in the Bible. Could be anywhere in the Bible, but something that speaks to you perhaps or not, but we just want you to send through that, and we will be reading the answers as we go. What is the in-law story that you know? Send it through on our WhatsApp, and we can get to enjoy that. And I'm sure as we go on during the show, I've got people in the studio who are going to be referencing some of these in-law stories that are there in the Bible. This is Faith on Trial.
This is Faith on Trial on Star FM, exploring matters of faith and issues within the church.
So let me introduce our guests for tonight without us diving deep into anything as yet. Let's take a look at who we have on the panel today. We've got someone who is familiar with the airwaves, familiar face on Star FM, here on Faith on Trial for the second time, I think, maybe third time. We've got Pastor Simba Woloza from Strong Bonds, someone who deals with marital counseling and so on and so on. Welcome, and how are you?
I'm good, Iti. Thank you for having me.
It's welcome back, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, it's been a while.
Yeah, I'm part of the
You are.
the station.
Yeah, you are.
But I'm used to coming in the morning on Thursdays.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
oh yes.
How the relationship goes.
No, good. Maybe a brief on how the event went. I know that I missed it last minute. I was supposed to attend that. How did it go? We spoke a little bit about it on Faith on Trial during Marriage Week.
Yes. Yeah, so Marriage Week was a blast, man. It really came out nice. Exactly what we wanted. So, yeah, with 7 days of talking about marriage, we had a lot of...
I want to make the clear statement that the people who cannot deal with seeing their man...
And then maybe let's hear from the second guest on the panel, another welcome back that we are having. And that is Mrs. Avis Chihea, who is a friend of Faith on Trial, Girls on Fire movement. How have you been? You know, how's been ministry like? I follow you closely and I see that you're doing some fantastic things.
Thank you so much, E.T., for having me here. This is home. Ministry is good. The Lord has been faithful. The girls are really on fire, and ladies are on fire, and our marriages are on fire.
Yeah, if you had one thing that you'd want to just say to people to concentrate on, what would that one thing be?
Then see that manhood before you marry the man. I am one of the women of God who thinks that before you marry a man, you must see his penis.
Okay, one thing that I want people to concentrate about. Is it the question, E.T.?
Yes, that's the question.
Okay, the marital life, like if you are married, because I believe that marriage is an institution in which your faith in God is put to test. If we do not handle our homes, we might miss heaven. So we have to really handle our homes very well, because charity begins at home. We can't say that we know God when our homes are shaking. So I just want to encourage everyone to guard our homes, to take care of our homes, to pray for our homes, to make sure that our homes are on fire.
Wow, girls on fire, homes on fire. This is Faith on Trial.
This is Faith on Trial on Star FM, exploring matters of faith and issues within the church.
So let's get into our trending story of the day, and I've got something pretty interesting here now that I've got a panel of people who deal with things like marriages and things like that. So there's Pastor Gist in Ghana who sent tongues wagging during a talk show with with P. So that's P-E-E-P, not our Miss P, but P-E-P-E-E. And she was talking about how you should. Okay, let me let you just hear it for yourself, and then let's find out what you think about this.
I want to make the clear statement that the people who cannot deal with seeing their man's manhood before they get married, don't do it. If you don't have the guts to see a naked man or a naked woman before you get married to the person, don't do it. If you have the guts like me, then see that manhood before you marry the man. I am one of the women of God who thinks that before you marry a man, you must see his... You must see it, you must hold it, you must feel it, and make sure it's working. Why are you being like uncomfortable like that?
No, I want to make a point. Yes, you do. Let me drink water.
This is Faith on Trial on Star FM, exploring matters of faith and issues within the church.
So we're back in the studio. That's from Ghana. You can look for interviews with P and Pastor Gisting to find out the gist of this one. And I've got people in the studio. Do you agree that you should you have a look?
Of course, I don't agree with that. I mean, the moment we say let's do it, I mean, it will be pandemonium everywhere. I totally don't agree with that kind of advice.
As I'm one of the women of God who advocates for this sort of thing, we've got a woman of God in the studio today. Madam, do you agree with this?
No, I don't agree with this. It is satukutikana ukaona, then what?
And you should feel it and you should know if it's functioning.
Can I say functional odini? Because I feel kuti kana vanhu vakatendeka pana Mwari tisingaoni masaizi akasiyana siyana. Yawawana iyoyo inenge itori enough for you. But tikava nevana vasikana tikakurudzira kuti vaexperimente vachidzimeasure, vachidzifila. Pavanozororwa vanenge vane zvinhu zvekucompare with. Because no one chooses their penny size. These are things that you don't choose. These are things zvakasikwa nazvo naMwari. Saka tiri kuti chine vanenge vane dzinenge dzichinzi diki kana kuti hombe. Saka I don't advocate for that. Iti vanhu ngavarurame.
First,
then zvawawana izvozvo unongozvitambira zvandafiwa naMwari ndinotora
ndinogamuchira.
Gamuchira.
Pastor Sis Murimo, what's really going on now? Where is this coming from?
This generation, I don't understand it also, where this is coming from. I agree with my sister definitely that we can't have things like that happening, comparing stuff like that. Come on, it's taking us nowhere. Even scientifically, size doesn't really matter. Scientifically, we've been told that. So, I totally disagree with this. I want to say nonsense. But since you said it came from a woman of God, then I'll
She says, I'm one of the woman of God. So I don't know. Is she one of many? What's really going on? And I'm not, I'm not there when the women gather on their own. I don't know if that's what they talk about. But now when you hear a woman of God saying, no. If you have guts like me. So she's giving it. She's saying, if you've got guts like me. Yeah, so that's our trading for today. And I'm just happy that we have got a man and a woman of God in the studio who have said no to this. So that's trending for the day.
This is Faith on Trial on Star FM, exploring matters of faith and issues within the church. Faith on Trial on Star FM. WhatsApp us on 0772162651. Call in on 0772162651 or 0714-414-413. This is Faith on Trial on Star FM, exploring matters of faith and issues within the church. Faith on Trial on Star FM. WhatsApp us on 0772162651. Call in on 0772162651 or 0714-414-413.
So that's trending and it's buzzing on the WhatsApp platform. I just take a look at some of the responses, and the men and women of God seem to be in disagreement when it comes to this one. Now let's dive into the meat and potatoes of the show today. We are talking in-laws we are talking leaving and cleaving. So we hear about leaving and cleaving. We hear about being one. How difficult is it to do that? And is it something that we talk about when we do premarital counseling, or maybe we just it's also when you're in there? Are in-laws even prepared in terms of how they are to receive someone? So that's what we're going to be exploring today. The timeless principles of leave and cleave, God's blueprint for marriage. We'll dive into the delicate balance between loving your partner and respecting your in-laws, and discuss the traditional roles of Murora and Mukwacha. So join us tonight as we unpack the intersection of faith, family, and boundaries that foster lasting relationships. So that's where we are. All of the things that we're going to be doing tonight, we are hoping that we help foster lasting relationships. That's the goal. So let me come to our panel. We have got Pastor Simba in the studio, a friend of not just a friend of Faith on Trial, a friend of Star FM. Maybe you can just firstly explain this idea of leaving and cleaving. Before you do that, let me first give the floor to Madame to just answer for us what an in-law is. What is an in-law? In case someone who's listening who doesn't know what an in-law is.
Okay, thank you, E.T. An in-law ihama ye partner yako. Sati kuti kana uri mukadzi, an in-law ihama dze murume wako. Kana uri murume, an in-law ihama dze mukadzi wako dzese. Let me just read Genesis 2 verse 24. Therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife, and they become one flesh. Like Tinema Bible verses akawanda anotaura zve living and cleaving, the topic that we're digesting today. Ephesians 5 verse 31 inotaura kuti the same thing. Matthew 19 verse 5 inotaura the same thing. Mark 10 verse 7 inotaura the same thing. And the Bible rikuti therefore a man shall live. Means that Mwari vakatozvona kuti varume vanenge vane kadambudziko pakuita live and cleave. Saka Bible specifically rakanyora kuti a man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and they become one flesh. So living and cleaving, it doesn't mean that we are neglecting our nuclear family. It doesn't mean that waramba vabereki vako. But living and cleaving is putting your wife paposition yanga asiri. Urukupinza omukadzi wako into the family. So it means zvawaita uri wega wakuita nemukadzi wako as partners muri two. So that's what I understand by living and cleaving.
Oh, thank you for that. So we've got quite a lot of messages coming through regards to our quiz question. We've got Brilliant in Atlanta, USA says Judah and Tamar, Naomi and Ruth. So people also answering the question about the in-law relationships that you know, in-law situations that you know that are in the Bible. Continue to send those in. We'll be reading them throughout the program, and I'm sure some of these relationships will pop up as examples as we go on. And pertaining our trending of the day, someone says, I think the pastor is right. Gatisa nyari kutaura the truth. Infidelity iri kutangira pabonde. So this is someone who believes that unofana kutanga waona munu asina kusimira. Let's we'll leave that for now. Let's come to you, Pastor Simba. Leaving and cleaving.
Yeah, so living and cleaving. I think this is a condition, it is a principle, it is something that will either make or break a marriage if this principle is not observed. So, like my sister read the scripture, Genesis 2:24, there has to be a living. One must live. And the Bible actually says that they must leave their mother and their father. It starts with the father and then the mother. It didn't leave out the mother.
Who's leaving?
It's the son. The son must leave the father and the mother. Because kuna mother kunenya ya ufuti. Because kuna mama maskadu kusiwa ufuti. So we must allow the children to leave us. You know, it's important for us to learn to release. So the word leave actually means something that you don't even think it's the intended meaning, but it means to untie or to break.
To break?
Yeah, to break away from something or to be untied from something, because we are accepting the fact that over the years, mwanachi twa parented nema parents ake, there's a bond that develops. So if living doesn't happen, if that bond is not broken, then the child would not have left the parents. So the living aspect is very important because it breaks that bond. That's why I try to leave mother and father. Kunyanya pa mother apa iti. Fathers can easily release. They can easily release their children. But mother, because obviously, the bonding, mothers and sons, particularly those two, they bond well together. So if the principle of living is not observed, mwana no rambari mama's boy, and that marriage will not last for a long time because there's competition between Murora and Amai. They are fighting, like literally fighting over this boy child. So the living aspect has to be observed. And then the Bible then goes on to say, after living, what then happens? You cleave to your wife. So the word cleave, it means joined. It means joining, like, you've been joined by glue.
To glue together.
Yeah, to glue together. That's the reason why God says, I hate divorce. Because the understanding is that it's two people that have been glued together. And when you're separating those two, it's like we separate a bond paper to angagana manane glue. Someone's going to get hurt. Someone's going to get hurt. And in most cases, the children, is the other spouse and all that. So the aspect of living and cleaving must be understood. It is very important. And the cleaving, it is a process. It is actually addressing the goal of marriage. The goal of marriage, it is one flesh. We call it the one flesh goal of marriage. At the end of the day, we need to be one flesh. So that one flesh process is the cleaving process that we're talking about. And there can't be the one flesh or the cleaving without the living. If one is not left, guaranteed they will not cleave. They will not be united. They will not be glued, together. And the one flesh marriage that we want to see will not happen. So there has to be the living first.
Wow.
And that's the most interesting part.
So it seems like we've got some problems going around. This idea of a relationship with the in-laws doesn't feel like it's going smoothly in some cases. So maybe let's start there. What are some of the common challenges that are out there? I'll come to you, Madam Aphis, chair of Girls on Fire movement.
Okay, thank you, E.T. My challenges are more marriage concerning my in-laws. Inyaya ma expectations. Kuti murora panopinda mumusha. Ma in-laws vane zvavano expect kana kuti zvaitwa nemwana wavo asati arora. And some might expect kuti mwana wavo aramba achita izvozvo. But it might be a challenge because Lord yawedzera. Mwana wavo ava nemhuri yake kana kuti ava nevana. Mamwe ma challenges anogona ngova ekutongovengwa, ekuti hauna kugamuchirika. Maybe you can talk about intertribal marriages. Kuti mundevele nemushona varorana. Mandevele vane tsika dzavo vane zvavano expecta murora. Vanogona kutongo kuvenga kuti why ari mushona, those intertribal marriages. Then mamwe challenges anogona kuitika ndekuti murora anogona kusakwanisa kuzvininipisa. Because murora navamwene kauti namai vemurume, these are two women with two different roles muupenyu hwemurume. Saka murora mwana kuna vamwene. You should never reach a point where you compete na vamweni. You should never reach a point. Unoverenga nyaya pa social media kuti murora akarovana na vamweni. It should never reach that point. Saka imwe challenge atinosangana nayo varora vasiri humble, vasingakwanisi kuzvisa pasi. Vanoda kusvika mumisha yevanhu vachichinja mutemo. Murora ukapinda mumisha mevanhu hauchinji mutemo. Senziyo yakambona japresa kuti akuda kuchinja mutemo. Hauchinji mutemo mumba mevanhu. Ndiori kujoina mhuri. You are supposed to be able to adjust and to adapt and to also join the family. Imwe challenge atinosangana nayo futi varume vavarora vana vevanhu. Because I believe kuti murume futi ane control yekugadzirisa zvinhu zvemukadzi warora nehama dzake. Saka murume anofanira kuva muyananisi achidzidzisawo mukadzi wake kuti kwedu kuti uirane namama, mama anofarira zvakati achidzidzisawo futi nemukadzi wake.
So we got an opportunity to speak to a Mukwasha who had this to say as we did our normal faith on trial on the streets.
There's a manipulation of Mukwasha, so to speak, He's expected to be a bank roller of some sort. Yet, I think we all know how tough economically certain things are. And as families need to understand that, yes, Mkwasha or Toti Murora, so to speak, because I think it goes on two parts, have got roles to play, but some of those roles, which can be financially burdening, also in-laws just need to take the responsibility and not expect kuti munhu atakure kana asina mari haana mari, and it should not be seen as disrespect kuti munhu haana mari. People are blessed in different ways. If they've got the financial muscle, great. If they don't have the financial muscle, does it make them any less murora or any less mkwasha here? I don't think so. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think in-laws can be really tough, whilst other in-laws can be very accommodating. So kudos to those that are accommodating and that are welcoming, that are making the life of those that would have come into the family much more comfortable.
This is Faith on Trial on Star FM, exploring matters of faith and issues within the church.
Today is make sure that we have you in the know in terms of some of the things that are doing the rounds in terms of marriage. So maybe let me come to you, Pastor Simba, for this one. Roles. Are these roles defined? Are they assumed? What's really going on with regards to roles? We've heard from Mkwasha, and someone on WhatsApp says Mkwasha Taura and Mkwasha when you're Steve. No. I see Steve, but I can tell you that I've seen Steve cup his palms and Wombera a couple times. He's all right. So let's talk about these roles. Are they assumed? Are they defined? What are they?
I'm yet to come across maybe a portion of scripture that clearly lays out, like to say these are the terms of reference for a Mkwasha. But what I believe in is that Mkwasha is a son. I urge people to become sons. Kind of families to become sons and vice versa. Instead of becoming a murora, you'd rather be a daughter in that family that you are getting married to, because those two are also different. If I have daughters, I have a son, and my expectation, if I'm going to get a son-in-law, I expect to get a son. And for me, a son, number one, what I expect from them, their responsibility. Key responsibility for me is respect. They must respect me. I'm not about the stuff that they can bring, the money. I'm not about that. I'm being realistic.
Yeah.
I would rather have Mkwasha and respecter. So you need to understand me now as my Mkwasha. What do I call respect? For instance, respect for me is kubata mwana wangu zvakanaka, kusaponda mwana wangu, kusarova mwana wangu. To me, that's respect. How you communicate with me, you coming as well, some of our family gatherings like Michato, funeral, I also want you to come. To me, that's respect. So I'm sure, a lot of father-in-laws out there, they're not looking for provisions, kunyanyisisa. They are looking, number one, for a Mkwasha who knows their place. Kuti wapinda musha, watuva mwana. And we can't be looking for you. If you're a son, you know what a son must do. You cover the family where you can. It's not about money. But it's there's just a lot that you can do. Just your presence sometimes is actually a lot. and you can't put it in monetary value. You're worth so much. Just your presence, being there and being respectful to your in-laws, to the family that you've married into, being respectful, even to their daughter, because respect is mutual. Azvibatsiro kuti uri kupa vanatezvara mari and all those things, but you go back home, you abuse their daughter. So to them, respect is very, very important, more than what is believed out there. Kuti mukwasha, it's about kuta pump out money and all that. To me, the biggest responsibility, the biggest role that a mukwasha must play is just to become a son and to become responsible in terms of being respectful to his in-laws. For me, that's what I want from my mukwasha.
So let's go to Murora. It's good that we've got both genders in the studio today. If you're just tuning in, we're talking in-laws, Leave and Cleave. We've got Pastor Simba Woloza of Strong Bonds, and we also have Girls on Fire movement in the studio, Mrs. Avis Chihea, who is here with us, both of them involved in counseling and marriage and things of that nature. So, Murora, are these roles defined, or we assume unongopinda umomo, and what's going on?
Okay, thank you. Iti Murora ndona senge office.
Office.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Murora is an office, because you can be a very good wife but a very bad Murora. Saka Murora apinda mumushame vanhu, and ma roles Murora kuda hama dzemurume wako. Madzimai akawanda anowanzoti ndinovada sei vasingandidi. Bhaibheri roti iro tingati tinonamata sei tichida vanotida, tinofanwa kutoda chero vasingatidi. Zvoreva kuti Murora unogona kusatogamuchirwa nedzimwe hama dzemurume wako, but your role is to love them, your role is to honor them. And semurora une zvimwe zvinhu zvausingatauri mumushame vanhu, nyangwe munetsane sei nemurume wako, une mamwe anonzi no-go areas. Hautuki murume wako nezvamai vake, hautuki murume wako nezvababa vake. Saka Murora is an office. Ndinofara Bible shoko raMwari kuna Proverbs 14 verse 1 rinoti, a wise woman builds her home with her own hands, and a foolish woman, she destroys it with her own hands futi. Saka kuti Murora wana wisdom. Mwari ndo vanotipa uchenjeri kuti ndotamba sei mhaka dzangu mumushama ndapinda. Vana havasi kundida, maybe I've got toxic in-laws, but inini I have to assume my role, kuti my office semurora apinda mumusha. Saka Murora anofanwa kuva humble, anofanwa kuvaka musha waapinda, because Bible rati anovaka imba yake nemaoko ake, builds her home. Saka she has to build relationships. Anofanwa kuumbiridza, kwete kukuchidzira moto, kuti murume kana achikuonana nehama dzake iwe uri kuita fire uri kutofuela. But Murora should be like a fire brigade. Murora should be like a fire extinguisher, kukauma mastorms. And Murora anofanwa kuchengeta vamwene vake, mai vemurume wake. Saka ndona senge office yeMurora unofanwa kubva futi pakuita Murora nekuita mwana. Ndafarira munhu waMwari vati mukwasha is a son. Murora should also be a daughter, because nogona kuroorwa, maybe kufamily kwaroorwa kune vana vakomana chete. Saka Murora anofanwa kuassume futi an office of a daughter, kuchengeta amai vemurume wake, because murume kune kwaanogumira kuma undergarments ekutengera mai vake anogona asingakwanisi kuzvitenga, because tine cultural definition yeMurora. Zvinonzi Murora afangu kudai, Murora afangu kugezesa vamwene, but tine varoora vakaita vana vakasvika pakugezesa vana vamwene vavo vachirwara. Saka Murora is an office inoda uchenjeri, inoda nyasha dza Mwari kuti Mwari vati guide. At the same time, Murora should also have boundaries. Murora should also be very concerned of your mental health and emotional health, but achida hama dzemurume wake, achiyananisi.
0772162651. The roles are being spoken about here, and let us know, how did you find out about your roles? Do you know the roles? Are you a good in-law? We just want to hear from the in-laws, and we want to hear from the couples as well. The floor is open.
Faith on Trial on Star FM. WhatsApp us on 0772162651. Call in on 0772162651 or 0714414413.
So today we've been balancing things out. We've heard from a Mukwasha. Let's hear from a Murora who had their marriage break down and they feel some type of way about the relationship with in-laws.
As someone who is in the process of getting a divorce, if there was any advice that I could give to someone who is getting married, this is what it would be. One of the main things, like number one on the list, you always need to remember that your in-laws are not your family. Your in-laws are not your family. Everything is going to be sweet in the beginning. Y'all can be tight, whatever the case is. But the moment shit hits the fan in your marriage, they are not going to cover you. They are not going to have your back. Their main priority is going to be the person that you've married. Like whether it's their, brother, son, whatever. And if you're the wife, right? If you take it as oh no, this is my family, you're going to be so disappointed. I'm telling you. And y'all can just be saying oh, I'm just saying this because I'm getting a divorce. Maybe I'm bitter. I promise you, it's not even coming from that mindset. It's just coming from experience. The moment shit hits the fan in that marriage, you're going to really see who's there for you and who's not. Will leave you dry. It's not even a joke. The two becoming one is a beautiful thing, but always make sure that you are good and that you're fine. Because at the end of the day, you got you.
This is Faith on Trial on Star FM, exploring matters of faith and issues within the church. Faith on Trial on Star FM. WhatsApp us on 0772162651. Call in on 0772162651 or 0714414413.
Good evening. You're through to Star FM.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
My name is Takuzo.
Hi, Takuzo. You can go ahead. What's your contribution?
My contribution is to what Miss Chihaya said.
Okay.
About the woman being the fire brigade, being the office, right?
Yeah.
So the question I have for her is that women, they try as much as they can to be one with the in-law family, right? But the problem is that if it's not a two-way manner, it then becomes difficult. As what she highlighted, that she has to be given the wisdom by the Lord. She has to have the strength to understand, to become the builder of the family. But then it becomes difficult and hard for her, as if the in-laws are failing to reciprocate, to understand her. Maybe it's a one-way manner. She's trying, but they're not also giving back, you see. It becomes difficult for the family to understand her. So, what advice would you give for a woman who is trying, but the in-laws are failing to reciprocate the same way she's trying to give out? Because he said he has become one with the man, but she hasn't become one with the family. You see, that then becomes difficult for both the husband and the wife to have the same situation, to understand each other. There's some situations whereby a relationship is broken because of the in-law. Some husbands and some men, they are one with their family. But when the husband becomes one with the wife, it's not also the same for the wife to have becoming one with the family. So what do you say about that? That's why I have to contribute.
Oh, thank you so much. Let's bring it back into the studio. So there you have it. This is coming from a position of the woman now. And I can hear the passion of, a man defending, a woman. I don't know the backstory, but he sounds like he's experienced a thing or two. And he's saying, the woman is trying. She's trying to be there. She's trying to be ideal, but it's not being reciprocated. Odi manje baba. Okay.
Okay,
Pastor Solos, I want to get this one.
So remember, I defined marriage. I think earlier I defined marriage as the process of becoming one.
Yeah.
So I like the idea that Takudzwa is saying, Kuti, you know, there's the oneness that we are pursuing here. He agrees with that. And when I say it's a process of becoming one, I'm saying that it's not something that is going to happen overnight. It's not going to be an event. It's something that we're intentional about. But okay, I'm getting married into, I'm marrying into this family. I will not wake up mangwana that were one with my in-laws. I wish I could, promise that. it might never happen.
Yeah.
Some are lucky, it happens maybe over a period of 2 years or 2 months or 1 month. You never know. But it's important for us to understand and to appreciate that it's going to be a process. But you can shorten the number of years or months, your process here by continuing to do good. But some of us can get a good kawanchit, and then we are not appreciated, we give up. But you continue to do good. Because at the end of the day, no one will dispute your good deeds. So it's important for you to continue doing good. Because you're going to be discouraged. Remember in the by construct of the walls of Jerusalem, but they kept on building, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the same applies to building a relationship with your in-laws. You keep on building. Pampacho ngototenza grocery, uchingobva chete rukuto flash, rukuraswa, kunzaisa zvimishonga zvake. But you keep on doing it. You keep on doing it, and you're intentional about what you're trying to build. In no time, they'll realize that mune atoribo, and they'll become one with you. But if you show them good and all that, you try to fight back, then you won't get to that place where you become one with them. So let's continue to do the good work. No one will dispute that good work. And before you know it, you'll be one with your in-laws. It's good to be intentional right from the start. Because this is what I want. Because you know what, E.T., it's unfortunate that when people are getting married, kurukuya ku premarital counseling, kurukuya the couple that's getting married, my in-laws are away ku counseling. Saka akuna kwatunawanira, and so they're bound to make mistakes. Let's give them that room to make mistakes, but behind the scenes, let's find out ways some of the things that we learn about marriage, and then they will become better, and we'll become one with them.
Let's see if we've got someone on the line. Good evening and through to Star FM.
Hi, E.T.
Hi, how are you?
I'm Pastor G from Blawe.
How's Blawe?
Blawe is okay.
Is it hot like Harare? Harare is hot, eh?
How is Harare?
Harare is hot. Is it hot that side?
Yes, it's too hot in Blawe.
What do you want to say, Pastor G?
No, you know what? Let me say this. In marriages, are you listening?
Yes, I'm listening, Pastor G.
But in marriages, there are two things. If you go into the Bible, when we now live with the parents, as the Bible says, and first of all, you have to leave so many things there. The woman has to leave so many things. The man has to leave so many things. Then you become one. The moment you become one, that is a new couple with new challenges, with new resolutions. But again, you don't disengage from these parenting. In counseling, we say we swap parenting. But in reality, we don't swap parenting. It's whereby a new couple will do its own thing. When it deals with parenting, it deals with that at once and for all. It has to have what is transparent. Are we together?
We're together, Pastor G.
Right. Again, who is going to influence, or who is going to protect, or who has to contribute on that new couple? When you go on that, and you get on marriage, what you have to you should have what is called resolution or ethical code of conduct. And you come out with people who contribute, people who influence that relationship. The first thing is you have to deal with gossip.
Gossip.
Two, you have to focus so much on God-given wisdom and God-given direction. Know that challenges are going to face challenges. People are going to try to influence on that relationship. But you have to know that you have to protect your wife.
Hello? Oh, I think we've lost gossip. Let me come to you, Mrs. Chia in the studio. Anzi, you have to guard yourself from gossip.
Aiwa siyabonga umfundisi
Gossip
from Blawayo. Gossip nje vichitaurwa zvinhu zvine ma-third
But
party.
how does it affect you as a Murora or as a woman when you hear certain things being said? You know, I like to believe that Murora or Mukwasha are human beings with feelings as well. You know what I mean? Despite them having roles and responsibilities. But when the grapevine is now saying things, you know, how does that make someone...
It's very painful, because especially Susu vakadzi were very emotional beings. Saka ndikanzwa kuti tete vanga vachiti zvakati pamusoro pangu. It's very painful. Ndinogona kundiprika and ndinogona kutotaridzawo ma-actions ekuti ndakazvinzwa. Pandona senge semurora pane vanhu vasingafanira kubvunza makuhwa. Avafanira kuita mafira kureva. I feel like there are proper channels to resolve issues. Muculture medu as the Shona people or as Africans, we've got my channels edu kuti vaunokwanisa kuudza kuti inini pane zvandakanzwa zvisiri kundita zvakanaka, tokumbura kuti muti yananisi, but kuti uzokonfronta vanhu zvemakuhwa, mafira kureva, kubvunza makuhwa zvinotinetsei, but ndikanzwawo because I'm an emotional being ndinogona kubatikana kuti ndogona kumboto ignorewo munhu
for some time.
For
Good evening, you're through to Star FM. We're talking in-laws, Cleave and Cleave. Who am I talking to? Hello? I think line runes. Hello?
From Chiredzi.
From Chiredzi, okay. Hey, akuvunzo kukupisa chete.
Hello?
You can go ahead. My brother from Chiredzi. I think we've lost that one. Let's get another one. Good evening, you're through to Star FM. Let's see if we can get another one here. 0772162651. Good evening, you're through to Star FM.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. So, in-laws, Live and Cleave, your thoughts?
Okay, you're speaking to Pastor Mbara.
Pastor Mbara?
Yes.
Ndimurimo ma-counseling session umu. Zvakamira sei?
Nyaya dzotaura dzakanaka, but I think varora nana mwene vanhu vari kupinda mumamarriages vakagadzirira hondo, because kune murora natete havaonani. Saka vanhu vari kutongopinda mumarriage vakagadzirira hondo. Saka even munhu akangoita mistake one, mapanga akutobuda, munhu akutotanga kutobaira kuti zaakutobuda. Saka vanhu vanenge vakatogadzirira hondo
vachitopinda marriage kuti ini handinzwaro.
Handinzwa, munhu atongopinda akatogadzirira kuti katozwa nzi amwene havaite kana kuti tete havaite. Murora achitouya zonzi anoparadzanisa vanhu. Saka zvinhu zvikangotanga kungochinja, because obviously kana mwana anga achichengeta mai vake but kuzoya muroora pachatanga kuita tuma-changes financially because mwana uchinja but imba yachinja. Vakutoti taimwa mamona isusu taidya panapa uyo asati auya.
Wow. No, thanks for that contribution.
Pastor Mbara, it's good to hear from you. It's been a minute.
No, thank you for that. So people going into marriages with clenched fists, Gudara. But you know what? Let me come to you with that. vanenge vazinzwa kubva kunani handisirine here inini iti ndaudza bhebhi rangu tichiri kudanana kuti uyanonesa
okay
handisirine here ndikusowa masidza because I'm trying to figure it out kuti muroora anozosvika pamba achiziva kuti uyu anodai arakazvinzwa nani.
Okay, zvinoitika iti panyaya dzezvinhu zvakadaro. I want you to picture this scenario. Iwe ukasungwa nhasi iti nyaya yako inofambwa nayo nadetective handiti achiinvestigata zvozonzi docket rabo docket writer robva raendeswa docket kuna prosecutor anonzi muchuchisi uya. So prosecutor aringosenzesa docket neinformation yapuwa nainvestigator kundo zviripo, and then they will use that. It's not like they were there paitwa ma-investigations. They were not there. So I say this to those that are married, kuti, whatever you give your family is what they are going to use against your spouse. Ndiro docket, iwo utoendesa docket andizika kuhama dzako, and they will take that information iyo yawalapa ndiyo vanosenzesa. They don't use anything new. They don't use anything new. They've heard it from you. Ndiwe wavaunzira faira racho. So many cases we present the files, you know, we sell our spouses to our family. Pamopacho tinovatengesa picture seriyo. So we really need to question ourselves with what are we presenting, because our families can only use the information that we give to them. Saka, be mindful of what you say to your family, and it maybe at some point we'll talk about boundaries, and one key boundary is what we call informational boundaries. The information that you let out to your family of origin, to your primary family, to your secondary family, where you're coming from, your information do just sense of persecutor mwako.
Good evening, you're through to Star FM.
Good evening.
Who am I talking to?
You're talking to Elvis.
Elvis. Okay, you can lower the volume of your radio so that we can hear you clearly.
Okay. Right. E.T., first of all, I want to say to Pastor Simba, I always listen to you, and everything that you say, I really appreciate it. And God is using you, to mend marriages and stuff like that. And I commend you for that. And also, I just want to on what you said. Could you sure? The thing is, couples still two, whatever happens there, we are the custodian of our marriage. So, chikatadziana, yo ukamhanya ukaenda kuhama dzako ukanitaura zvakatadziana. The thing is, isusu ticharegerana tiri two. But nyaya ichaitika ndeyekuti kwavaenda uko kanovaudza izvozvo ivavo they are not going kundiregerera inini. Saka tinge ndo pane nyaya panga pachitaurwa when we cleave to one another, ngatiprotecting what we have. It's like tube yekuti ine one end ine another end. Iwo unovhara side kwako ini chivhara side kwako. Ukavhura the other side, all my creepy crawlies, yes, akatanga kupinda neikoko kwavhura iwewe, which is going to affect our marriage.
Thank you so much. Someone talking about today some of the information boundary. I like that one. We'll explore that a bit more. He's saying that whatever you tell the in-laws, and they won't forgive me, but you forgive me the next week, and then for the next 6 months doing a rutauro at a family bride. So let's hear another phone call. You can switch off or lower the volume of your radio so that we can hear you clearly. Good evening, you're through to Star FM.
Hello.
I can't hear you clearly. Maybe let's try someone else. Good evening, you're through to Star FM. Hello. Let me see if I can get someone in there. Good evening, you're through to Star FM.
Faith on Trial on Star FM. What's up? on 0772162651. Call in on 0772162651 or 0714414413.
So feel free to come through on our phone lines, send voice notes, send WhatsApps. I'm going to be reading those out. Let me see if I can get someone on the line. Good evening, you're through to Star FM.
Hello?
Hello, who am I talking to?
Yes, it's Munashe.
Yes, Munashe, you can go ahead.
I think vanofana kunomaliza kuteerera program inetwa Pastor Sipa. Vanotaura a lot about my setup ema relationships. Kuti pamwe pacho panotofela marriages edu ndototadza kutodzidzisa kuti munhu anobva from a background yakaita sei. Kuti munhu varitaura zvino types of husbands, types of wives, ma traditional husbands, ma modern wives, zvakadaro zvinhu zvatisinga. I think panofanira kuti communities vanofanira kushewa this information that pavanopinda marriages vanoziva kuti munhu ari kupinda ari compatible naye here.
Compatibility.
Yes, that is so problems akawanda. Vanozotanga kutaura zvakafanana nezvema-background chaizo. Sometimes knowing the background of kubva munhu wako kwakakosha straight, because ukasaziva background yemunhu wako, ukasaziva wamumarriage, zvichakuaffect as a person.
Thank you for that. Let me come to you, Madam. So, my background. So, you've got a situation where there's one person who grew up going to every family function. That's the type of person they are. The other person hardly goes to anything. In a secluded little area, and then these two people meet. Paoma.
Yeah, panenge paoma. That's why I think I agree with the last caller. Kuti vanhu pavanenge vari ma-relationships ngava normalize kuenda kuma-premarital counseling so that you know if you're compatible, because you might be in love but not compatible for marriage. Saka seizvozvo kana murume wako achida zvekuenda kuma-family functions, the Bible says wives submit to your husbands. So you can't change something that maybe kuda murume wako akuroora ne-30 years. You can't change a 30-year-old man.
A 30-year-old infant ajara mai vake
kuti aite iwewe wakuda kumuchinjisa mutemo, because wives should submit to their husbands. Kana ari munhu anofara zvema-families zvokuenda and kana ari a traditional, I think I can call that one a traditional man, anofollowa zvema-roots ake zvokuenda kumusha kuma-functions ese kumusha kana kutambira Christmas kumusha. It means iwewe semuroora you now need to adapt to that. Saka you should normalize discussing these hard questions, called these hard issues, muri mukomana nemusikana, so that you see if you are compatible, or you see kuti nini semukadzi kati semuroora ndichafanirwa kuadjusta kusvika papi, because for sure iti background inotikuvadza, because we've got issues to do with ma different spiritual beliefs dzekuti muroora nema-in-laws. These are things that you should notice, kuti realize muri relationship kuti ni murume wangu anonamata kupi, kuda murume wangu mupostori. Saka it means ivo kumba kwavanoita zvechipostori vanobheliva kumasowe. Saka ini semuroora ini maybe I'm Pentecostal, ndikapinda mumusha imomo, definitely there will be clashes with the in-laws, with the family.
You might try to rebuke zviri munatezva.
Or maybe tezva rachatirega tiyerese mwana kuti timupe mvura yemuteuro. Inini, maybe I'm from a Pentecostal background. I don't believe in that. So that's why I think tinongotora marriage very lightly kuti achachinja kuti zvinongoita zvega. But we really need to go kuma professional counselor sana Pastor Simba for premarital counseling, so that you see if you are compatible spiritually, financially, nema beliefs, nema definitions yokuti muroora, because kola ati zvinosiyana from family to family, the expectations of muroora. Vamwe definition yavo yemuroora munhu anotsiga mugomo wemvura achisakura achirima, that's their definition. Kumwe hazvina basa, vanogona musaladi muroora nema-nails achicheka zvake masaladi, but kumwe ukaenda nema-nails uchita zvokucheka masaladi vanoti muroora wakatiunzira haiti, because their definition of muroora munhu anosakura mumunda achifudza mbudzi achirima asingaiti zvema-nails. Saka we really need this premarital counseling vakomana vakwete kungo concentrate on moto, the fire, the infatuation, but let's have these hard discussions.
Okay, let me see if I can pick up a call before I come to you, Pastor Simba. Good evening. You're through to Faith on Trial.
Hi,
What did he say?
Simba Pamarondera.
Barisego Pamarondera.
Kudada kuti datana so unotigira feminist
feminist I said we are ndikumuudza next week kuti say
anoramba zvisizvo kutaurwa nehama yavo anoramba akatsanubvira haadi kuti vari muvaite peace we
akachitodaka paya tisina chatamutadzira sevarume aitodaka paya
akatona zvinonyadzisa fichin chokutunga expert kune munhu wechikadzi izvozviya
muona basa rangu iri vakaoma.
This is Faith on Trial on Star FM, exploring matters of faith and issues within the church.
So maybe let's get to some boundaries. I know that information boundary is something that we spoke about. What are some of the boundaries that we need to be mindful of?
Okay, maybe let me explain my boundaries.
Yes, yeah, sure.
Remember, kana wapinda marriage, you are now starting a family. Yateta guti primary family, and where you are coming from, that then becomes your secondary family. Kana watiatachiti family of origin. So effectively, there are two families now, and that's reality. So let's accept to turn two families. And pachirungu vanoti a good fence maketh good neighbors. Meaning kuti two families dzakavakidzana, but without a fence, it means kuti maybe a dog from family A, the primary family, stray into family B property, which is the family of origin or the secondary family, and families will begin to fight, isn't it? Because atina security fence cannot atina boundary. So ndopanozwa ma-problems atunoita nema-in-laws ukuthi my in-laws, they come in and make decisions for us, they intrude into our affairs and all those things. It's because apana a clear demarcation yokuti secondary family iri kutangira papi chiperera papi. So without that boundary, my relationships edu nema-in-laws are no struggler. So we need to be intentional about coming up with boundaries. Good, okay, ngatishisema boundaries. In which areas? Number one, I mentioned informational boundaries. Not every information gets to the other family, which is the secondary family. Like information like wana pay raise kubasa, wawedzerwa mari kubasa, and then wakutongoenda kumba kwenyu, wakuna announcer, you make a big announcement kumba kwa wakabva kuti mukwasha wenyu kati murora wenyu akawedzerwa mari kubasa kwake. Because when you do that, everyone is going to be expecting an increase in terms of my allowances avanopuwa nemi. So you've got to be very careful when it comes to information around your earnings, and it is very important. Then there's also decision-making boundaries. Now that you are married, you make your decisions. Imimi Muritu, you now make your decisions as a couple. But obviously you have to be very wise about it. There are certain decisions that you don't make mega Muritu. Muno consult especially when it comes to life-threatening situations. Could maybe one is to go under the knife or it was a major surgery. You don't just make up that decision wega, as the other partner asirugurwara or the spouse asirugurwara. You consult your spouse family. Good, okay, Dr. Vati Rakati, Twitter say. So you lift the boundary there. There's also your physical boundaries. Chaiwo ekuti kumba kwenyu ikoko your bedroom iwowe muri tune mudzimai wako ane murume wako, your bedroom is out of bounds. Aisinjube kuti ngotambirwa navanhu vese vese iyoyo. So you also need to communicate the boundaries to your family kuti ukamusvike mungasvika kumwe but ukamusvike. Those are physical boundaries. Hembe chaidzo, hembe yandinofarira ini pamudzimai wangu ndozona yakapfekwa kana nesister yake kana nevamwe gogo vambouya vangotorawo hembe iyoyoyo. It won't come out nice. So we also need to have physical boundaries around things like that. There's also Yeah, there's a lot, E.T. We can go on and on, but I just wanted to show you.
Let me read something on WhatsApp right now. So, Friends of Faith on Trial WhatsApp group, that's where I'm getting this. So, if you are on Facebook, we are live on Facebook. Click the link in the description and you can join this group. So, Brian, shout out to Brian. He's listening to the show and he sent this. Anzi kuno hatisi compatible. Ndakateerera radio iye ari kuridzawo zvake zvemufoni pake zviri pafoni pake hanzi dzima chinhu chako icho. Ni Brian for WhatsApp. So I've got something interesting. So just there's one particular instance that I've heard of, could be more, where counseling was done and two people unanimously agreed, that look, we're not compatible, Jesus. When they went their separate ways, phoned the counselor and said, hey, you know what, after my counseling sessions at Cheetah, we've seen that we can't get married, Jesus. And the counselor then says, call the girl. The girl Panashtar and I, she also felt like she also had the same feeling. I think go hang up. The girl phones the counselor and says, hey, we've broke it off. We're not compatible, but we did it in good spirits. That's the only case that I've heard of that happening. You know why? Because it could be different in some cases, but I tend to feel like it's a rigged match with premarital counseling. People want to know bola date kudala and vango, or they're in between the lobola and the wedding. And they've come there and they're sitting there and they're hearing Pastor Solos are telling them this and that and that. And my word, they've already done it. So I don't know how we can address it.
Yeah, let's be
okay. Is it an maybe I'm making this up. Is it an issue? Is this what's going on? That's what I think is going on. But now we're premarital counseling game ragarigwa kudara. Dine date rangu remswa 8. Kudara. Apana ari kuzonochinja mind yemungu. Kudara. Nothing is going to change.
Okay, so let me clarify something.
Let's hear
in as far as premarital coaching or premarital counseling is concerned. I believe that premarital coaching starts way back. Totanga utori 11 years. You are being prepared for marriage.
Okay.
So let's take note of that, Zimbabweans, my listeners. Premarital coaching,
but
I got target 2 days before the wedding.
Let's get that back. I like what you're saying.
Yeah.
If you're listening, please listen attentively for what has just been said. So 11-year-old girl were premarital counseling.
My parents, how they're living out their marriage. Something is getting into them, into their system. So to all those that are married now and you have kids, you're actually coaching your kids right now. Usutomboziva kuti kuvakocha kuti chichonzi marriage. So zokuzovapushira unana pastor Simba kuti tasane 2 weeks ndilaine vanhu ava. Come on, what do I make out of that? I only have 2 weeks. You have coached them for the rest of their years. Saka indichaita shi. So it's very important. And also again, I think there's a lot that happens in dating, and we must also talk about this. In dating, I always say this, E.T., it's time to collect data. And it's not time but it's important for you to be intentional about gathering data. Okay, my sister here mentioned you know what, you need to talk about your families of origin. Tradition so it's up to you what you do with that data. And it's your right to break up as long as it's before marriage. It's okay, because God hates divorce, but He's okay with breaking up. One data analyze and then you make a decision. Do I want to proceed? So if you come to me and we go through counseling and you say, Pastor, and that's not, no, we are not compatible, I'll say that's fine. You have my blessings, because marriage is coming. It's a whole different game altogether. And also, I also want us to use the word compatibility carefully.
Yeah.
And compatibility, I'm yet to come across, they are very rare. Couples are not very compatible. This is shocking, but that's the truth. Pamopacho is just that we are different in many areas. And when we get married now, the differences, we can actually use them to our advantages. So pampacho, we have to be very careful how we are defining compatibility. In I believe kuti kana pane ma red flags, kana pane ma this is my deal breaker. Yes, people don't get. I advise people not to get married at all. But can I musiri compatible in certain areas? Like in you, my wife supports Chelsea, and that has never changed. So in that regard, we are not compatible. But is this threatening to our relationship? It is not. So let's be very careful, especially when we use the word compatibility. I just thought I would mention that.
So another one on the WhatsApp platform coming in, Anzi, Arakadzi are good at playing dumb. Musati marorwa. Munenge muchi nzwanana. Chingorora uone. Partial submission. Inenge yavapo plus naro. Black Pitbull. Ndiyatumira. Nezitaronzi Black Pitbull. Unenge une naro futika iyoyo. Paranzi vakadzi ndo zviri kuitika. Pari ku a bit misleading. Maichi andokupai.
Okay, hanzi vakadzi tikuzoita nharo tamarriage.
Hanzi marriage nharo dzacho
I think maybe nharo dzinobva pakusabalansa ma-in-laws. Because tikutaura kuti muroora ita zvakati, muroora ita zvakati. Mukwashawo itawo zvakanakawo kuvabereki vangu. Because hakuna munhu akangodonha kubva mubako. Munhu wese akatozvarwa nevabereki vake. Saka the same way wo murume yanoda kuti mukadzi wake ade hama dzake. That's the same way wo mukadzi yanoda kuti murume wake ade hama dzake. So maybe dzimwe nharo, for example, dzimwe nharo dzechinzi inharo nevarume dzedzisiri hadzo nharo. Dzimwe nharo kuda tingoona kuti every Christmas tingoenda kwenyu chete, kuma in-laws kwenyu chete. Ndozotiwo baba this time handimboenda kwedu
ndokune chipisika kwedu isusuka ndokunonakidza
aiwa tero kwedu sanga pave nebalance iti papo panyaya yema-in-laws because handimona tataura zvenharo tiri panyaya yema-in-laws ngapave nebalance pakaita senge zvava one sided hamba imomo munogona kuzoita kana bongo
plus varume vari kuita zviri kuita kunge that when I was just doing some research it felt like varume are not really attending some of these family functions.
Very true, it
felt like that's the feeling and varume a bit withdrawn. Even vakasvika kufunction uko hunge asvika excuse inopiwa ipapo within 5-10 minutes aenda.
Sapanoda balance. Semurumewo uonekerawo kumusha kwemukadzi wako pane ma-functions zvikudawo mukwasha ngatorewo nzvimbo yake murorawo achidini achionekerawo kumba kwemurume wake.
Let me just come in the yes kune varume vasingafari kuenda kumba kwema-in-laws and one thing that I've noted is because of nyaya yema-boundaries ayatachataura, there's another boundary, I told time boundaries. So before you make that visit, it's important for us to make conversations like saka tikunogara for how long handiti totoagree. It's normal. Because
varume usually break agreement tichambopfuura ipapo tigumira pagedhi unosvika kwakabikwa kusina kuudzwa kune mabiko ukongozi hapana ngoti kusvika ngoti wotosvika kutone pati.
So what happens ini kandichivhizita kumba kwemudzimai wangu handitka toti kuvhizita kana kumusha kwemudzimai wangu obviously my wife wants us to be there for the longest, for like a week. But inini because ndikunzwa kuti ukwasha uya unogona kuzondilimita ndiri koko, a week is just too long for me. So obviously I prefer maybe 3 days. So we then need to negotiate kuti okay otonzwisa kuti okay munhu anakurira ikokoko, so let's meet somewhere pa middle ground, because I don't want to be there the whole week. Matches arutamba, I can't even watch the match. Mwana weipapo muzukuru weipapo arikutoona makatuni
mati mukwasha is a sad.
But still ndine mama limitations ekuti chero ndikada kuenda kubathroom ndiri kutya because even mvura yemutoilet iya inogona kupefoma inogona kusatouya ichidangowachisa mukwasha chete. So I'm not comfortable in that environment because of that. So we must then discuss, because these are discussions that people don't do.
Yes.
You don't just visit and you are there indefinitely. I'm sorry, move in. Next time, ndozoti andisida kuenda kumba kwenyu because of that reason. That's why most
also,
men would
what of going there alone?
Yes.
Are you supposed to notify? kana tinozokunzwa ndambopfuura kwamama mangwana ndambopfuura kwamama ndazokuti hayi handandi kwamama angu but ndazongoti kanyama kabva kwamama aka what's going on
zvinongonakidzawo kungoti chero uri wegawo
utauriwo
aiwa kuti ngoipfuura it's okay I think it's okay
and vice versa unobva kuenda kukwana tezvara kuhanditya akusi kwenyu ungoenda ungonopfuura ungonoseka something and mudzimai wako asiri kuziva kuti ambopfuura niko kozongomudza kana tozongofona kuti mukwasha sani wedu apfuura nekuno kakasiya zvakati thank you. It's good to do that. Good. Because remember, we want to express love to them.
Exactly.
We want to show them love so that they become in-loves, not in-laws.
In-loves, not in-laws. That's a nice one. That's how we're going to be ending the show today. Let me see if I can take one more. 0772162651. If a questionnaire was distributed to your in-laws anonymously, why nyora kuti chi pamsoro pezvako? Let me see if I can get someone on the line here. Good evening. You're through to Star FM. I think we may have missed this one. So some parting shots, Maichi here.
Okay. Ngati dei hama dzevarume vedu. Bible not ida singakudi. Let's also
ngati dei hama dzevarume vedu. Bible not ida singakudi.
Okay, all right. Singakudi. Ramba uchiro vasingakudi. But ramba kuna benzi rakaramba rudo. One day your good deeds you'll be rewarded. And also let's set boundaries. Let's set boundaries tichengetedze misha yedu. Varumewo idaiwo hama dzevakadzi venyu. Vakadzi idaiwo hama dzevarume venyu. Thank you, E.T.
And Pastor Swaloza.
Okay, I would say tiri vanhu vatema, most of us vakateerera, and I would say to us black tax is real, meaning kuti tasiyana nemamwe marudzi. Vabereki vedu pakatiendesa kuchikoro, they had expectations. They wanted us also to to do certain obligations. So please, let's not run away from those obligations now that we are married. Because kangomira chete, they are going to quickly conclude and say kuti murora ndiyakazvimisa kana mukwasha ndakazvimisa. So let's be awake to our obligations. In fact, let's do more. Kana marora nakudai kana mwako aisimboendesa $50 kumba kwavo. Now that you are there, mava amai vacho imimi, mababa mbai momom. Let's double that allocation or that allowance that we're taking to our families of origin. So yeah, I would want us to be awake to the fact that we have obligations ku my families of origin edu kwatrukuva, and let's do that. Let's support where we can. Let's do more for our families. It's important that we do that. Let's show them love. So that's my parting shot, E.T.
So many thanks to Pastor Swaloza for that one. I'm sure you'll have him again on Thursday. What are you talking about on Thursday? Have you prepared yet?
Not yet.
Okay, so it's a surprise. So
it's a surprise,
Thursday,
yeah.
On Thursday, do tune in, and you can get to find out more there. And I'm sure our own Madam Mrs. Chihe of Girls on Fire movement, she will be back once again. So that's the show. In-laws, Cleave, Leave and Cleave. A lot of people will beg for a part 2 because I'm sure. I hope that you've learned, I hope that you are leaning in and you're learning something, rejuvenated. Maybe kana uri mkwasha ngane time asina umbosvikawo ku my in-laws umbosvikawo kana wapedza kuonekwa pa wakarora kayo usadaro chama. So here's Janet Manyoa to end this one. Hanzi Hachinje. This is the latest one that is doing extremely well on the Gospel Grades. Janet Manyoa with Hachinje.